Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hello and welcome to another quick shot review. I'm your host Luke and you are the Cheap Shot Nation, and without further ado we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves. It's not a game I've ever played, it's not anything I've ever been into. I understand that it's absolutely humongous and obviously I do know about it. I used to watch the cartoons back in the 80s, and I know there was a film about, 10 years ago that came out that I never watched. So what of Dungeons and Dragons Amongst Thieves? Well, I'm reliably told that it is the film that the game deserves on such an epic scale, and I did pick up a few Easter eggs along the way whilst watching this, which some of you may not have done, some of you may have done, but either way, it's pretty darn good, this film. Just on its own, doesn't need any connotations or any relation to the game, the board game, but hey, it's good. So we're going to go into the main part of the video and or podcast, and if you're joining us on the podcasting channel, thank you very much for doing so. We absolutely appreciate that, and if you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do by now. So let's move on to the main part of the podcast. So, Dungeons and Dragons, released in 2023. It is a PG-13, so that means you can take your pre-teens to go and see this film as long as you are accompanying them. I'm getting my words out. And it runs at 2 hours 14 minutes, and it's not a slog at all. It is really good. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves. It is a story of a charming thief and the band of unlikely adventurers who embark on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic, but things go dangerously awry when they run afoul of the wrong people. Of course, there is a lot of things going off here. The directors, John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, do a fantastic job, and both of those guys have had hands in writing it along with Michael Giglio. Stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez and Regé Jean Page, along with Sophia Lillis, who you may remember from the It reboot from 2017, playing Beverly Marsh. Chloe Coleman, she seems to be getting in quite a few bits as well. Justice Smith playing Simon. Hugh Grant as well, playing Forge. And of course, like I say, we've got Chris Pine, who is mainly known for the Star Trek films. Michelle Rodriguez as Helga, who is in pretty much everything these days. And that's about your lot in terms of the main people who are in this film. Hugh Grant is fantastic in this film. He is having a bit of a renaissance. He plays a slimy Englishman. Seems to be the standard these days in modern movies. If you're English, you're slimy and you're untrustworthy. Also noteworthy is Daisy Head playing Safina, who plays quite a big part in this film. So, yeah, it is really good. I will say that again. Really good film. Incredibly well written. The visuals are fantastic. The score is fantastic. The acting is also fantastic, and it does give nods to the nerds that this is a Dungeons and Dragons film. Has all of the Dungeons and Dragons traits. You've got the warriors, you've got the sorcerers, the knights, etc., etc. As far as I know, this is my very limited knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons. Like I say, I've never played it myself, only in reference on things like Stranger Things have I seen this game, but the film never felt dull. Not one point did it feel dull. If you've never played Dungeons and Dragons or never heard of Dungeons and Dragons, you can go and watch this film, and this is a good trait of this film. You can go and watch this film and be entertained by it. You do not need any prior knowledge of the game or previous films or cartoons or anything, because it is that good. I found myself really engaged. I found myself willing the characters to victory over the slimy bad guys and the trolls and all that kind of stuff. That big fat red dragon, he was cool, or she. I'm not judging. Absolutely brilliant, and like I say, recently released here in the UK on the 31st of March. So we had to get down there and film it. Incidentally, and watch it. Incidentally, I'm looking at the filming locations. The filming locations, Carrickfergus, County Antrim, Northern Ireland in the UK. So yeah, a British film of massive worldwide gross, and seems to be pretty accurate as well in terms of what kind of things it's portraying from what I've seen. It made me laugh. It had the right amount of peril in it. It had really interesting characters, and it was just a full package. I do say this a lot. Films are too long these days, but this did not feel like it was too long. It felt like it was the right length for what it was. And, with all the extra bits as well, the maze running, the giant block of jelly that dissolved people and all that kind of stuff. It was amazing. Really, really good film. And I'd encourage anybody to go and see this film. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Amongst Thieves. I will give it my seal of approval. Very good film. And if you've seen that film, please do get in contact with us via social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or leave a comment. And, there's plenty more where that came from. We've got Mario to go and watch, and more films as well, including Evil Dead. So, yeah, plenty to come. Not going to stop. We love films. I love films, and I'm guessing if you're listening to this podcast, you love films as well. So let's all love films together and be cool to one another. I will see you next time. Thank you very much for joining us, and goodbye.
Bye.